So that shiny new game just came out, the Thaumaturge, and you want to know if it's worth your time, right? Well, let's take a look at the game for some first impressions. Keep in mind this is not a full review, this is a quick look at the game. I played the game for around an hour and a half, so I'll show some footage of the game while describing it and giving a few thoughts on it. I was a little hesitant trying this game, as I tend to avoid turn-based combat games. I just don't really like turn-based, but every time I looked at this game, I felt compelled to give it a try. The look of it and the story behind it was just too interesting to pass up, and I'm glad I did try it out. So to begin, you play as Victor Shulsky, and you have just arrived to a train station in search of a man. And the first thing that you do is send a message to your sister about your progress. After that, you get to play the game and move around. Like the name of the game, you play as a thaumaturge, which have some unique abilities. You harness the powers of soluturs, which are mystical creatures. Soluturs are drawn to people with flaws. Flaws are marks left on the soul from tragic events. Because of this, your main powers seem to be greatly enhanced perception, being able to manipulate others, and also the creatures that you harness can be used in battle with you. I don't know yet if there's more that you can do. This is basically an investigative game though, always using your perception to find the next clue and put things together, like a detective. Mixed in is turn-based combat with your saluturs. The in-game menus have things like a journal or map, but the one that you'll be using the most is where you upgrade your character's abilities, as well as your saluturs' combat abilities. I chose to upgrade my abilities pretty evenly as I played. So after arriving to the train station and sending your sister a message, you talk to a coachman and have him bring you into a nearby village. Each area that you play in seems pretty small. There's not much exploring other than clues or newspapers. The look of this game is visually appealing though. It reminds me a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, which makes sense because this game takes place in 1905. One of the first things that I did was get into a fight. The fighting system is pretty easy to understand, so I won't really go over that. You finally have found the man that you have been looking for, Rasputin. He's a healer and says that his gift is from God. He's really good at healing. Your character, Victor, needs healing because he's damaged the link with his salutor. Rasputin ends up healing you and you wake up the next morning alone, so you want to find him again. He turns out to be in the cemetery because a village elder was murdered. Before I did that though, I explored the village a little bit and I read some newspapers and I settled a dispute by using my powers. After I dealt with the salutor causing problems, your character receives a message back from his sister saying that their father died. Now you're leaving the village and going back home to bury your father, and that's where Act 1 begins. I ended the game in this area as well. The combat is pretty easy to understand, but it can be a little hard managing what you're doing, especially with status effects affecting you and multiple opponents. I really like the time period that this game is set in though, and the graphics are nice to look at. The best part of this game though, by far, is the story. There are a lot of voiced cutscenes when playing, and I was instantly drawn into this game, from the mystical atmosphere to the storytelling. I think this game is really good, and you're most likely going to enjoy it as well, though that's my personal opinion. Whether or not this is your type of game, I'll see you on the next one.